you ever heard of a guy named Rob Zombie? Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
he's some
Band
people have heard of him.
leader, filmmaker. Yeah.
Yeah, so he decided he was going to have his own haunt called Rob Zombie's Great
What is
American
a
Nightmare.
haunt?
A haunt like at Halloween time, like they have like a haunted house.
Oh, is that like new slang? Never heard anyone call it a haunt. That's cool.
In Los Angeles, we have a bunch of theme parks that have Halloween themed mazes full of actors that scare the crap out of people. There's Not Scary Farm. They've done it for like 50 years. Then Universal Studios has their own Halloween Horror Nights that they do at all their locations. And then there's a lot of smaller ones. And Rob Zombie decided he wanted to take at doing his own. And it was local. It was right down the street in Pomona, and they were looking for actors to audition. And it was close. I worked. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'll just audition. And I went through the process, and I ended up getting cast as Captain Spaulding uh, for in the live action version of this haunt. And
And
there
that's
was
from his film series, right? Devil's
yeah,
Rejects.
Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses, played by the great Sid Haig. Rest in peace, Sid. Um, and so I got to grow my beard out and become Captain Spaulding every night for about 6 weeks. It was a Thursday through Sunday, 4 nights a week for 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and they had live bands that all these killer bands that came through. And every night was a different musician or a different group of bands, and then they had three different mazes based on his movies. And I worked in the Captain Spaulding's museum, basically his murder ride, and I was the for the first half of the thing. I was Captain Spaulding within the maze, jumping up and scaring people. And it's kind of because there's a lot of younger people that do the haunts, just because it requires a lot of energy. So I'm one of the older guys, so they had me be more like a manager, kind of breaking people and making sure that everybody was doing their jobs, but not really. But you know, so I was
All
more
dressed
in,
as Captain Spaulding.
yeah, and yelling at people and getting paid to insult everybody was awesome. And then I ended up getting moved up to the lobby, and it was great. It was awesome to. I didn't realize what a freaking awesome job that was until later, until hindsight. And then I started watching all the movies and I got to meet Sid a bunch of times, and it was fantastic. And but working with a lot of the people that were involved in that haunt, there were makeup artists. They're all in the industry that have worked on tons of movies, and so I got connected with a lot of people, and that opened up the initial first doors for me to, you know, do my makeup and get cast in movies and little bit parts, and everything grew from there.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about it. But yeah, okay, so haunts, the idea of those very elaborate. I'm from Indiana, and we had a very big one that would pop up every year, and they would turn an entire, like, 6 acre paintball course into a massive, like, multiple house
Cool.
event people would go to. And I never thought about how many actors and what it all would go into just doing that just for a couple months of entertainment. And then
Yeah.
you're doing it in the big leagues because LA, you're right, it has all the actors, it has all the highest talent.
Yeah.
What
Well,
was it really like day to day behind the scenes there?
it was hard. Um, our haunt was different because there's I guess Rob Zombie has a different prestige. You know, he's rock and roll. He's part of the horror, the rock and roll world, and but he's also in the movie world. So people that came through our haunt, there was a lot of celebrities that came through. Um, it wasn't very well attended for some reason because there's so much competition. Uh, when I say, "Yeah, I work for Rob Zombie at Great American Nightmare," they're like, "What? He had a haunt? Oh, I'll have to go check it out next year." What? I mean, they just didn't get it, and I saw advertising everywhere. But when we're so busy working on it, um, so like you never know who's going to be coming through, and so John Five from his band would come through like almost every night, and Rob and Sherry came through with their kids. Um, uh, Tommy Lee from Motley Crue came through a few times. I met Phil Collin from Def Leppard. He came through, and I looked at him. I'm like, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like, oh, like he knows that I recognize him. But I looked at him and I said, hey, didn't you used to play guitar in a band called Girl? And he's like, whoa, that was his band in high school. And all his friends were like, whoa, good one, mate. Like that. 'Cause I freaked him out. But apparently he's terrified of clowns. So a big giant clown coming up and telling him what he did in high school really upset him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah. Got right to the fear of it. I love
yeah.
that.
So, but that was the other thing too. Is like you don't realize how people love being scared. They pay good money. You paid 40 or 50 bucks for a ticket. You get to see killer heavy metal bands, um, different bands. There are punk bands. There was EDM music. There was all kinds of stuff. Different things for pretty much every genre in the, I mean, not country, but in the rock metal world. Um, and but you see how like friends would come through in groups, and they have like the friends would be all, "Hey, get this, that." They totally terrified. So I'd like zero in and just focus on them, and just it's I guess it's kind of sadistic, but I really enjoyed scaring the crap out of people. But then you get people that are really drunk, so it can be dangerous and violent. Um, there was also Oktoberfest, so people are drinking giant, huge beers and coming through the mazes. And there was a few fights that happened. People got hurt. We scared the crap out of someone. They turned and run the wrong way and girl went straight into a wall and knocked herself out. You know,
Oh man. So
um,
there's the capacity for real terror here and some
yeah,
injury.
but there's security and we have protocol set up. There's a flow to the mazes and stuff. Most people are there for fun, but there's some other people that went through with a chip on the shoulder, looking for trouble. There's always that element. So you have to learn how to keep your space. Um, don't be close enough where you're in their face or you can get hit. You have to be like, well, you missed. Yeah, but it was fun.
You mean
And
like
if
people who like go in who they're almost like trying to prove they won't be scared, or like what do you mean chip on their shoulder?
they just have an attitude, like they're probably a holes to begin with. Two, they're drunk. They're walking through. This isn't scary. This is you're trying to put that cross arm. Just like put your guard down, have some fun. They're the ones that complain on the internet. Instead
Mm.
of going in and just having an open mind and being like part of it and enjoying it and stuff. So part of my job was like I would mess with people, and like the guy would always have the girl in front of him. And I said, "Wow, look at you, Mister Tough Guy. You let her go out in front to protect you. Whoa, man, you're a tough girl." Like that, and they start flirting with the girls, and through their dates. But you just kind of play with them to get them, because like some people are like into it, and other people are just like just kind of cruise through. And it's a different world. Takes a lot of energy. And if Rob did it again, he ended up doing it the next year in um, I think Scottsdale, Arizona, or Phoenix, Arizona, and then he moved it to Chicago, and apparently Chicago went really bad because as part of the maze, the maze was set up of all the different serial killers, and they had a Gacy exhibit, and Gacy was from Chicago, and the
Oh.
families of the murdered children, the families still live there, so like there's huge protests. And so I don't know if that went over so well, but if Rob were to come back and do it again, I would audition in a heartbeat.